if I'm going to compare myself or compete with someone else, there's someone always going to be higher. Like I tell my children, that if you want something that somebody else has, but there will always be somebody else who has something more. So where is it going to stop? I want to push myself, like really push myself to the limit. And I'm glad I think I just started enjoying it so much, becoming these characters.
So it's my privilege to interview somebody who we have seen on the small screen, on the big screen, on the web series, in Hindi, in English, and also in Gujarati. Shefali Shah, when you started working many years ago, did you ever expect the kind of career you are rocking today?
Not at all, Bhawana, and you know it. We've discussed this earlier. I mean, not
Yes.
at all. Actually, forget me. If anybody was asked this some years ago, a woman in her 40s is going to make it to, she's going to peak her career and start peaking at that point of time, they would laugh. I mean, obviously not.
What do you think? What do you think happened? Are you at the right place at the right time? Or are you supremely talented because of which so many opportunities are coming to you?
I think right place, right time, and there were certain directors who decided to take that chance with me, who said, okay, well, particularly like when Delhi Crime happened, and this director said, I'm going to put this, I want to put her in the center of it. I trust this actor to carry this entire show. And also the fact that because it was made, I assume it was made for a streaming platform. That's why it was an 8-hour show. He could take that chance. So that has to go to OTT as well. If it was a film, then they would have gone to a star. They didn't necessarily need.
So the magic began with Delhi Crimes.
Yeah.
And you were at the threshold of a realization much before all of us, the audience. Because when you started shooting, you could make out that something very special was in the offing.
I was extremely, I was just so proud of what we were creating. I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know where it was going to be showcased, Netflix wasn't yet on board, nothing. And I don't tend to look ahead and think, iska kya hoga? For me, creating and the process of creating it is the highest joy of being a part of any project. So, but I knew that this was something really special and this was something I was going to be so proud of for life.
I feel there are two things that happens with an actor. One is when that actor gets into the hook of the character and knows that now she understands his or her character. And the second is when the shooting begins and the actor senses that something special is happening. Do you always sense it right, or there are times you make a mistake?
Of course I make mistakes. But touch wood, my gut has worked. My gut and instinct has worked for me. Even with the choice of work, the kind of work I chose. And all of it has happened not by a math or a commercial calculation or a professional evaluation. If I do this, this is where I will be, etc., etc. I just followed my gut. I loved the script. I loved the role. And I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And luckily, it's worked for me.
Who surrounds you? Who tells you? Is there somebody whom you kind of use as a backup, or your conscience? After you like something, is there somebody validating it, endorsing it?
It's normally when you, it's like with an impulse or an instinct, you don't need somebody to validate it. Also, I will discuss it. I will discuss it with Vipul. I will discuss it with my agent, Chaitanya. But to do it or no is a decision I've probably already taken. Also, when I read a script, my reaction is very instantaneous. Yes or no. I don't stretch the process. So it's like I said, there is no, karna chahiye, nahi karna chahiye, phir kya hoga, all that, I don't get into it. But obviously, I've decided somewhere. I'll sound it off. I'll talk to Vipul about it. I'll talk to Chaitanya about it. But finally, the decision lies within me. If there's something that doesn't excite me, I won't even indulge in that conversation with Vipul or Chaitanya.
So, Shefali, you have worked with the topmost directors, topmost actors, co stars, and no matter how powerful that icon is or how well known that superstar is, you always make an impact. So, you are a kind of a scene stealer. How hard do you work at it?
No, I don't. I have no intention of stealing any scene from anybody. But I want to become the character. That is one thing that I'm very sure of. I take it as a compliment when people recognize me as a character rather than saying Shefali did a good job in that. I feel, okay, that is where I intended to go. And I get consumed by her. And, very early in life, when I did Monsoon Wedding, I realized that every moment, actors can be very vain. So every moment doesn't have to belong to you. But no matter where you are, in the frame, in the corner, you have to be true to your character. Just because it's not your scene, you don't have to say, कि अच्छा उनका line है ना, मैं क्यों कुछ करूं. And if it is not your moment, you do not have to stand up there and try to do झंडे गाड़ो from पीछे से. किसी और का moment है, किसी और का scene है. React the way your character would react, na? Not what you need to do as an actor to make sure that you're seen. So there's a very distinct clarity in my head about it. And I love what I do. I love it so much. I think that's what, I get consumed by these characters. I just become them and I love it.
So this kind of a training, this kind of a mindset, this kind of a consumption of the character, and this kind of an integrity and commitment to the character of not doing more, not doing less, and wanting to be recognized by that person. Where did the training really begin for you? When you were a child, when you were in school, when you were in college, or on the theater? Where?
No, so Bhawana, I didn't even intend to be an actor. It just happened. I landed up doing theater and then I landed up doing television. And then I said, oh, I do this on a regular basis. So maybe this is what I do for a living or this is my job. And the way I worked earlier, I was young, I was naive, I was stupid. I didn't even have a perspective on things. I just got stuff, I did it. There wasn't so much thought. Impulse and instinct, yes. But the kind of work I do behind, before I go in front of the camera, is way, way different. Like I said, that you have to have the security of being able to vanish in a scene if need be, or become a part of the wall, came from Monsoon Wedding because we had this gorgeous cast. But it worked so beautifully because no one was trying to overshadow anything.
Yes.
Also, my competition is with myself, na? On a daily basis, I'm thinking, oh God, I did this yesterday. What do I do to correct it? What do I do to better it? If I'm going to compare myself or compete with someone else, there's someone always going to be higher. Like I tell my children, that if you want something that somebody else has, better there will always be somebody else who has something more. So where is it going to stop? I want to push myself, like really push myself to the limit. And I'm glad I think I just started enjoying it so much, becoming these characters. I started enjoying it so much that I don't know when it happened. And it happened before Delhi Crime. I have to give it to the other projects also, whether it's a Juice or it's a Once Again. It happened with that, or with Monsoon Wedding. But then it also has to do with such amazing directors, working with such amazing people. And you only take away and you keep just soaking it in.
You have always taken risks, whether it was The Last Layer or whether it was playing mother to Priyanka Chopra in Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, and playing the kind of a complex character you were. And of course, Ruxana with Vidya Balan. And I see your posts on the Instagram before you start a film. I can sense your anxiety and I can sense your excitement and you're always including your team in your new journey. So what is your relationship with your team, and how much do they contribute to every new journey that begins with a new character?
They make me better. It's one of the reasons I look forward to going on set. They not only make me look beautiful, they make me feel beautiful. I mean, I cannot begin to tell you how much I love this. Like I said, I get withdrawals when we are not working. And the thing is, like, I feel loved, I feel protected. I think I laugh the most with them. They understand the character, they know who I am. They value me as much as I value them. And we work together. I mean, all these characters, they look so. And what is the first thing that strikes you about a film or a role? Is the physical appearance, right? So there are these amazing people who are not only talented, but they're such beautiful people that they make me richer as a person, as an actor. They contribute to me becoming all these different facets, and they value who I am, and vice versa. I mean, I call them my vertebrae, like one vertebrae. Whether
Nice.
it's Pallavi Simmons, whether it's Sandhya Belare, whether it's Raj, whether it's Radhika, various costume designers who work, like, Ruxana. Like I was talking today in one of the interviews, Ruxana and Shamshunissa are both Muslims. They come from a similar strata. They both are cooks. They are enterprising in their own way. They are very possessive and protective mothers, but not for a moment do you start comparing both, because they're so different from each other.
When you do a series like Delhi Crimes, it's not just extremely time and emotion consuming, but you're also stealing yourself from your home and your children and from your domestic life. So here you are getting consumed by the character. You have to give that kind of crazy timing, and you come home and you are not having anything to give anybody during that time. How does the family balance it? How much do they understand? What do they say to you?
They don't say anything. I think they just deal with it now, because they consume a lot of me otherwise. So when I'm working, they know, okay, she's consumed by this. Now she'll be in her own zone. And I love it. I'm the happiest on set. I mean, I love my children and I love my family and all of it, but I am the happiest on set. I love working. Also, I think they can deal with small doses. I don't think they want to deal with me all the time.
How do you react to your film darlings?
I'm so happy the kind of love it's getting. And I love Shamshunisa. I mean, she's such a cracker of a character. She's such a cracker. And she's so similar to me as a person. And she's kind of wacko, which is great. I haven't also played, like, all my projects have been very serious, the roles that I've played, etc. This is, this is something. Everywhere else, I've had to have restraint. And that's the choice I make. Here, I could live her with abandon. That is the difference.
For me, the new age moment in the film is when
Zulfi,
that guy, he says that, I'm attracted to Khala.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you change your stand towards him in a moment. Yeah. And more than that, it's you give him a kiss. Yeah. And Alia turns back and looks at you. And I said, only Shefali could have done this. Because you do it so casually. And cut to, in the concluding scene from that railway tracks when you girls are going home.
Yeah.
And while the guys are in the front seat, there is so much happening between the mother and daughter. It's so succinct and it's so subtle. And yet a big secret is revealed.
True.
So I really feel that the film was wonderful, but somehow I felt that there was something missing which I've not been able to put my finger on. Maybe if I'll watch it a second time. So Shefali, I also feel that you were always very good with your judgments on movies, not just your own, but other people's. I remember when Mohabbatein was released and a particular scene was being discussed at Mr. Bachchan's home, and you said that the clap should have been at this place and not at that place.
Really?
You know,
I don't have any memory
yeah.
of this.
So it's a very crucial moment between Bachchan and Shah Rukh.
Huh.
And you talked about an applause that was misplaced.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So have you thought of direction?
I did direct immediately after the pandemic. I did 2 short films. One
Oh,
is Happy
yes.
Birthday Mummy Ji. Yeah. And I did Someday. Happy Birthday Mummy Ji came out and stuff. Someday is still not seen. It will probably see the light of the day someday. But I want to direct. I love it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. But I know that I will put in a lot of time. That's how that's how I want to do it. Which means, according to Vipul, he said exactly when your career is taking off as an actor, you will decide to just vanish off the grid because you want to direct. So I want to do it, but I know that I'll just focus on that. And right now I'm loving the phase I am in. So yeah,
according to Vipul, you should hold your horse and not get into direction now.
He just thinks that I will, like he knows me. I'll get completely consumed by it. And he's seen what is being off or what I did last year. So he's saying ki zara matlab, exactly when you'll start getting more offers as an actor, you'll suddenly decide, acha, now I'm going off the grid and I will come back after 2 years because I want to make a film. I want to do 1.5 years of prep only because I'll do so much prep. But I will do it someday. Yeah, I will direct.
Yeah,
I
but
love it.
I agree with Vipul. This is not the right time. Hold your horse. Just concentrate on your roles. Now, coming to Delhi Crime Season 2, what should I expect as an audience? I have very high expectations of the series, of Shefali Shah, of even Rasika Dugal. I don't want to be disappointed, and I'm very nervous because I get scared of watching something that I truly enjoyed to get into the season 2. I hold back. I try to avoid it. I try to delay it because I want to relish it. What is your advice for me?
Well, have you seen the first episode?
Yeah.
And
I like it.
okay. So, Bhavna, I think, in the first one, there was a crime. One is that you cannot match up that crime. It doesn't mean that the second one isn't as gruesome, but that one really hit hard and it hit everyone very hard. There was a crime, and then there were these people who came in who solved the crime and they became heroes. In season 2, there are these characters and a crime happens. So the evolution of characters, the investment in the characters is far deeper. Also, like I say this, Vartika in DC1 became a hero. In DC2, she becomes human. She makes mistakes. She falters. She flaws. And she doesn't shy away from apologizing or correcting it. In the earlier one, there was no shaking of moral compass. It was very clear. These are bad guys. I have to catch them. If I could, I would kill them. But the second best I can do is get these guys and put them behind bars. In this one, there is a lot of dilemma because there is a crime. It is gruesome. There is evidence. It points in a direction. It requires a procedural. And at the same time, there is a gut instinct and a thought saying, am I being too quick to judge? Am I being too quick to label? Yes, I have to solve it, but am I doing the right thing? So there's a lot of dilemma there. And like I said, I think that is the strength of DC2.
When you do social dramas, you learn a lot about relationships. When you do these 2 crime seasons, are you seeing society, law, police force with a different filter and a prism?
Absolutely, because both the shows are not just about the crime and the procedural. They are rather than making a statement, they are bringing to light what happens around. So it's not just about this crime. It's about where from where, what generation, what thinking, what state of mind this kind of thinking comes into our society, seeps in, and who all are responsible for it, knowing, unknowingly. So you, of course, you become more aware. And it's wonderful that, when, like, for example, Delhi Crime 2, it talks about the disparity between the rich and the poor. It talks about the marginalization. It talks about the, the kind of patriarchy on a certain level that Niti has to deal with in her house. Working woman, but you're expected to, the discrimination. So all of that, but it's not in your face. Like when that moment in the trailer where she says, "Are we falling short?" That is what Vartika, that is her strength, I feel. In the first one, she was blinded. She was just like, I have to get these guys. That's it. Over here, she's left to question everything. And I think it takes a lot for you to admit and accept. Where are we faltering? Yeah. And where he turns around and says, but where do we have the time?
Because one after another, the crime is taking place.
It's just happening.
Do you stop and ponder and question that who has been the strongest source of influence in your life? This is my last question. That who has influenced you from childhood to now in different ways and different patterns?
I think different people in different ways and different patterns. The resilience of my mother, the brutal honesty of my father, I don't know, the stability of Vipul, the unabashed, unending support and love and acceptance that my friends give me, that my team gives me. I mean, even people who didn't believe in me, they have contributed to who I am today. They probably, subconsciously, they must have pushed me somewhere to say, hey, I'm going to prove this, yeah. I probably will make it someday. And whatever make it is. I mean, so I think it's various people at various times. And it doesn't have to be just the pivotal people. That's, right now you put me on a spot and I'm answering this question. But I don't know what I must have learned from whom and where. Could be somebody I met in a train journey. For all you know, could be somebody in school I met. And there is something somebody said, and I feel like, whoa, I never thought of it like this. Yeah. That is such an interesting perspective to look at things. So it's so many things.
I think there is so many things that make you the person you are. It is so many things that make you the actor you are. And it also is so many things that make you the individual you are. I love the way you dissected your Delhi crime character. And I think Netflix is going to be even more happy than me because you're putting things in perspective. And I wish you all the best, Shefali, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bhavna Ben. Lots of love.
Thank you for tuning in. If you have liked this episode, do comment. Do rate on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Hubhopper, Castbox, Spotify, JioSaavn so that you get notified when we come next. Stay tuned for the next episode with yet another guest, and until then, take great care of yourself.